Welcome back. The week ahead continues now. We're going to take a look at the political desk, already what they have in store for us as we look forward to the projections for the week ahead. Joining us for that conversation is SABC News Political reporter Ntlantla Kgatlhane. Ntlantla, a very good afternoon. We're obviously just looking at some of these dynamics unfolding, and the national dialogue is one such theme that really has come to the fore. Beyond the costs of, being estimated around 700 million rand, the expectations, though, the work of the task teams as well, and really what this means for the nation, its efficacy. Talk to us about those dynamics in relation to the national dialogue.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. Indeed, a very interesting week this week when we had the president finally announcing that, the first day of the national dialogue will take place on the 15th of August, basically saying that that's going to be a national convention, and also announcing the team, the eminent, members group that are going to be part and parcel of this. But quite interestingly, like you already mentioned, Lisa, is the amount of money we saw there. The national dialogue preparatory task team, just a couple of days after the president made that announcement, briefing the media in terms of, their state of readiness, how things are looking, and also announcing that number, that made a lot of people uncomfortable, saying that preliminarily at this particular moment, they think that it might, be around 700 million. But we saw yesterday there when we invited the member of the preparatory task team that is responsible for the national dialogue, dispelling, those claims, saying that, as much as democracy is expensive, they doubt at this particular moment that the amount will be 700 million, but still, a lot of South Africans complaining after, that announcement that, it's going to be quite an expensive process, especially with, a lot of people questioning, why the national dialogue. I mean, others are even, citing that the president has had, barriers in these, or how is this different, from the national dialogue. We saw the team clarifying that, saying that according to them, in terms of the Imbizo, the president could interact with communities. But with this one, the unique thing about it, with the national dialogue, is that people are going to register their grievances, but also are going to have platforms in terms of, coming up with solutions. When, we were attending that briefing, we also heard that, this process is not a one-day process. We asked that how long would it take, and also we got the number of 6 to about 9 months in terms of, them collecting that particular data. They're going to have barriers, gatherings after the national convention on the 15th. They're going to have, just a lot of provinces to gather data in terms of grievances and solution. And later, afterwards, after that 9 months, only then will they come, back to the president and then put those grievances, proposals, and solutions to, what would have been discussed in the process of the national dialogue. But one thing that came clear is the amount of money, and also, the dispelling of that, 700 million, saying that it might be in the 100 million, but they doubt that it would reach, 700 million. But also the issue of participation, came, that these are in a democratic country, participation, especially in South Africa, has come, to show that, it's a very challenging issue. These are
Well, Ntlantla, thank you for that, because as discussions and conversations continue, we also saw another story coming to the fore, remarks by Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, in relation to the ANC succession planning there come the 2027 National Conference. Him of the view that it's not as easy as running a football club, obviously in reference to Patrice Motsepe. His name coming to the fore there, but that being squashed. The SG of the view that, processes via branches must be held. Tell us a little bit more about what's transpiring internally there on that front.
Well, when it comes to the ANC, there's never a dull moment also, especially if you recall, Lisa, especially after the ANC had failed to, reach the 50% mark during the elections. You had the Secretary General of the party dispelling also those claims, saying ANC is not so fair, but asking sort of interesting questions that this name of businessman, Patrick Motsepe, has been counted, with a lot of people saying that is it a sign that he could be, approached to take the party forward after President Ramaphosa. But we saw that during the week, ANC Secretary General Ntlantla dispelling that, asking a lot of questions. One that caught one's attention was when he spoke about the branches, saying that which branch does Mr. Motsepe come from, and saying that the ANC is not for sale. I guess that one is going to be quite interesting going forward, especially with interest growing in terms of who's going to take the reins from the current president, Ramaphosa.
Well, Ntlantla, thank you for that, because even if we look at some of the other dynamics unfolding, we saw, as we reflect back on 12 months of the government of national unity and the statement of intent, that's coming to the fore, because we're really looking at whether, the promise of the stable government is something that has been achieved, but even just the measurable impacts, accountability, transparency also coming to the fore, given this arrangement, will it hold as well? What are the dynamics on that front?
Quite interestingly, yesterday would have marked exactly a year. One recalls very well, since the statement of intent was made public to a lot of South Africans. Now, I guess a lot is going to be talked about in terms of in the past year. What has this government of national unity achieved, and also if it would stand the test of time? That's past a year, 4 years to go, I guess. That remains to be seen, especially with all political parties, having different ideologies. Lisa?
Yes, because there's been grand entrances. We're speaking about whether there's going to be grand exits. What are the dynamics? Appeasing constituencies versus, the ministry mandate as well. So there's lots more questions and answers on that front. But something we can perhaps attempt to answer at this point is also our June 16th commemorations. We're looking at the plight of the youth. We know at this point 46.1% is what the youth unemployment rate is looking like as we speak for quarter one of 2025. And so obviously, as we reflect back to the achievements of the class of 1976, that baton now being handed over, we are 31 years into our own democracy. What are the main sentiments that are going to be emerging as we officially commemorate June 16th here in our country, and the future at large for the nation?
49 years on, Lizo, since that incident that shaped the country's history took place, over 30 years of democracy. Young people throughout all these 30 years have been saying that they are facing difficult challenges, as much as the class of 1976, saying that they might be under democracy, but the challenges that they face, are still hit hard. This year, we are going to witness Deputy President Paul Mashatile, coming here in Potchefstroom, talking to young people. This is a province in the Northwest where unemployment is very high. Northwest province has just surpassed Eastern Cape to become, the highest province that has unemployment in the country. That remains to be seen in terms of, how will the Deputy President, engage with communities, young people here, in terms of, what the democratic government still has for them or is planning for them.
Ntlantla Kgatlhane, thank you for your time. We're obviously monitoring those developments alongside you as the week ensues. Thank you for that diary update there. SABC News Political reporter Ntlantla Kgatlhane weighing in there.